Okay guys, welcome to the review video of the OUPES, spelled O-U-P-E-S, portable power station. So this is it right here. It would normally have the logo here, but the person who works for the company that sent it to me, this looks like this is a pre-production model or just one that they haven't labeled. But I've seen several YouTube videos of people with the same system that they bought from Amazon, and everything seems to be the same in terms of how it's packed and everything except for the label. So you can check it out on Amazon. I have the link in the description, but I recommend you check out the review first and just get an overview of how it performs. I will be just going over the ports a little more in depth, and then I will go into testing and test the output and input. Then I'll go over some of the additional features, so the light on the back of it, as well as just the overall construction, and then we'll call it a day from there, and that'll be all. So guys, I hope you enjoy, sit back, and let's go ahead and start it. And guys, overall, I really did like this system. I tested it pretty thoroughly, and it worked very well. You'll obviously see it coming up, but I just wanted to give you a little precursor to what I'm going to go over. Not everything worked perfectly, but I did as good of testing as I could, and this thing pulled through. So stay tuned, and we'll go ahead and get right into it right now. I'm going to go over the different ports and the LCD screen that's on here. First off, we have two AC ports. They're 110 volts, 600 watts continuous, and 1000 watts surge. I'll be testing that shortly. And it's each one is capable of 300 watts continuous. So it's not like you could put 600 watts into this one and then 600 into this one. It's a total of 600 watts for this section. So you could put 600 watts into here and nothing in here, or you could split it. Next here we just have the simple power button. You just power that on. Actually, you have to hold it down, then it shows you the display, and then once it's on sleep mode, or maybe soon here you'll see it, it goes back and forth with the light just to show that it's on. Next here we have the 12 volt DC section. So this port here is the simple cigarette lighter port. This one is 12 volts, 10 amps, 120 watts maximum. I'm not sure if it's regulated. It does not say so in the manual. Also here we have two DC ports, 12 volts, and I believe they are 5 amps each. So 60 watts maximum per port. And these are the 5521 ports, if you're familiar with those. Next here we have the USB port section. First, I'll go over the blue parts. The USB-A ones, which are the blue ones, are both the Quick Charge 3.0, which means that they can each get up to 18 watts maximum. I believe that depends on what you're charging with it, but that's what it says on the manual. And then the last part here is the USB-C PD port, 60 watts in and out, so you can charge the system with this port or discharge it into a laptop or something similar. This is nice because you can also use this PD port for, or you could use it in combination with the AC charging port or solar, depending on what you're using it for, and decrease your recharging time significantly. And then lastly, I'll go over this input port. So it's 12 to 30 volts and it's 100 watts maximum. So if you're charging from solar, you could probably find a good sized panel. I'm using a 120 watt panel that gets about up to about 100 watts on a good clear sunny day. But the AC charger that comes with it, it says that it will output about 96 watts to recharge this, and I believe it recharges in about 7.5 hours from the AC charger and from the 100 watt maximum solar charging. And then this isn't a port, but it's the LED light. It's very bright, but it has 3 modes, and I'll do it right now. This is the first mode. second mode is even brighter, and this next one is the SOS mode, so if you don't want to see a bunch of flashing lights, I would skip this part, but this is the SOS mode right there. So it's very, very bright. And let me turn that off. So I wanted to test how powerful this was, and on this lowest setting, and this is in the middle of the night, it's very, very bright. I can easily shine it across my house to my dad. And this isn't even the brightest setting. The brightest setting is just one click away. And it's not needed for me at this moment, but clearly visible. And even before I started this fire, I was easily able to light and organize a fire to start easily. So I think this is a very valuable tool, especially if you're going to be using it at least at times at night, compared to several other portable power stations. And now let's get into the LCD screen. Okay, the LCD screen is very large. I'm not sure about the dimensions of it, but it's the largest one that I've owned and the largest one that I've seen from just memory of different systems I've reviewed. And clearly you have the charging display. When it's charging, this little blue dial moves around, and you'll see it once I get into the charging section. Another cool thing here, and this is probably the coolest thing, and I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up on the audio from my phone, but once I turn on the AC ports, there is an inverter that uses power even when you're not having anything plugged into it. And I believe this is why they made it make a little sound when you turn this section on, so you don't lose power if you accidentally turn it on. So I'm going to turn it on here. Go ahead and turn on sleep mode and listen for the fans. I'm going to put it by the vent fans to see if you can hear it. I'll actually I'm going to turn my fan off up here. Okay, here you go. I'm about to press it right now. So I hope you heard that. It's a just a little reminder that it's on, and I think that's really cool. I've never seen another system that does that, or heard of another system. So that's a nice energy saver sort of reminder to you if you accidentally turn on. And I'll just turn on again just so you can see the display. So it has this little frequency looking thing. That just means it's pure sine wave, so it's a effective waveform for when you're using any AC appliances. There's another waveform called modified sine wave, and that is not good for certain appliances. So pure sine wave, you are good. It's basically the same thing as a normal wall outlet. Also here, it just says the AC port's on, and if I turn this off, it goes off. Also here you have the output watts listed. See, so the inverter is taking up 3 output watts, 2 or 0, depends. And then here is 33 hours until it is fully out of battery, just because the inverter's on. So go ahead and turn that off. Next, I'll turn on the 12-volt output ports. You can see it has the car port, which is this. Then it has the DC ports right here. Output watts again, and then the estimated hours until they are done. Now it says 88 here, probably because these are DC ports. It doesn't require power to convert into AC energy, so it has a much larger, much higher number here in terms of how long it would take to discharge all the energy. Now it has 99. Now let me turn this section off, and then we'll go into the USB section. So the USB section is very similar to the 12-volt section in terms of it doesn't need the inverter to doesn't need to convert any energy, so it's not going to be consuming power if this section is turned on. We have the USB-A right here and the USB-A down here, so it has both of these on, but it's not showing USB-C. So in my testing, we'll see if it shows anything for the USB-C side. So let me just turn everything on so you can see. And so if you use different sections, so if you use power from here, and the AC side, if you have stuff plugged into it, the total watts will be on here, and then the estimated hours until you're done, until the battery's out, will list just like normal. And that is the LCD screen. Alright guys, so I'm going to test the solar input with my LiFePO4. It's a 120 watt rated solar panel, and I'm going to plug it right in, and we're going to see how much power we can get in this system. Solar that can get in here is 100 watts. I attached the 8mm, I believe it's also called the barrel connector, to the LiFePO4 panel. Getting a good amount of sun. So let's go ahead and plug this baby in on the side input. Okay, so that's how far it goes. Let's see how much we're pulling in. 81, 73. Okay, it went down because we have cloud cover. Okay, sun is almost coming through. Let's see how much power that we are going to get. Click the screen. Okay, right now we're at 50 and slowly increasing. 70, 82, a consistent 85, 86 watts of power coming in. Sorry if the screen is weird on your end. It's looking weird on my camera. But 85, 86 watts, it's really nice. I mean, that's the maximum that this panel is going to get. If I attached two panels, which I have two of these panels, it would be way too much for this system. So I'm not going to do that. Alright, well, I noticed after about 20 seconds of me turning the screen on to show you guys how much power is coming in, the screen shuts down on sleep mode, but it's still charging up at about a consistent 81, 82 watts. And yeah, it looks good. Another thing is that the fans turn on. I don't know if you can hear the fans. I'll try and put it next to it. But it's a soft fan. It's not disturbing at all, but obviously that's used to cool it down. Cool the system down while it's charging. Looks good so far. Alright, now we're going to do the AC charging with the provided charging cables, and it looks like this is an 8mm barrel connector once again, so let's go ahead and get into it. The cables provided, one is the power brick with the 8mm adapter, and then we also have a AC adapter. It plugs into the brick, and this 3-prong AC cord that obviously goes into the wall. Let's go ahead and connect them and plug it into the system. Alright, so we are ready to plug in. This is the point I'm looking for, is the 96 watts. We'll see if we can get close to that. Let's go ahead and we're going to plug it in. And you can hear the inverter fans, or the cooling fans, are on, and also you can see it with the icon moving. It's not annoying. It's actually a little less loud than the Rockpals when it was charging, in my opinion. But there's still some noise, and we have 94, 95, and around there input watts coming in, so it does meet the specifications of what was required. And as I was saying earlier, you could see the little rotating around signifying that it's charging up. And what's cool is that after 20 seconds we will see it the screen go into sleep, but the power button will remain on with its little indicator. And this is really good for energy saving, and I like that. It's just automatic and not too bad. So the cord length actually is pretty long, I would say, and it just went on sleep. So I would say that, let me go ahead and unravel these cords and give you an estimate. So both of these cords connected, I believe you'll get about a 1 meter or 3 meters, or about 10 feet of cord length, which is pretty nice for AC charging. This is the provided cable that comes with the OUPES system, and it has a different colored connector, but it is still the same 8mm size, I believe. Alright guys, time for the car charging. Go ahead and plug it in. Now I'm not sure exactly how many watts can come through this. I'm sure it's not the 96 that we saw on the AC charging, but just go ahead and plug it in on the side here. And let's see. It'll start low. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to pick up a little bit. 49. The screen will probably shut off on sleep mode in a sec. 49, 48. So, pretty consistent, 48 or 49 watts of input. So, I think it said it will recharge this thing in about 12 hours. So, there you have it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the USB-A section of the power station and test to see how many watts we can get outputting into different products. So I'll show you in 1 second. I'll just turn the camera around. Alright, so first we have the Sherpa 100 AC. This is my go-to product for USB-C charging or USB-A charging. And then I have an old phone that I don't use that I'll charge. And we'll put them both in at once, but let's start with the Sherpa power bank and charge from USB-A. So I'm gonna go and plug it in. Then I'll go ahead and insert it here. So we have 12 watts in for here. The maximum I think is 18 that can come out of this port. So I really am not sure if this has to do with me and the cord I'm using and what I'm powering, but you can get up to 18 watts from the manual. I don't know if that's 100% true. I'll have to look into that, but 12 watts total from this USB-A port. And let's make sure it is confirming that on here on the screen. Okay, we have 11. It says 11 watts are coming out, but on here it says that 12 is coming in, so not a huge difference, but there you have it. Now I'll go ahead and plug my phone in, see how much more wattage comes out. Okay, so my phone is charging. Oh, so 14. It was just at 15. Now we have 14. Still have 12 watts coming into here, and it's charging up the phone nicely. That's good to see. Sometimes it will decrease the amount of power coming to each device if both are plugged in, but that's not the case here. So although it's saying that there's only 13 watts coming out, maybe this is only taking in 2. That might be the case. And before getting to the USB-C section, I just moved this cord from the top USB-A to the bottom one just to make sure it outputted the same. And it is outputting the same 12 watts. So it's showing consistency there, not the full 18, but then again, I think I'm just not using the right device or cord to get that full 18 from the quick charge port. Not quite sure, so I can't really determine if these ports are performing less than what they say they are. So far so good. Let's go to USB-C now. Just plugged in the USB-C to USB-C. This Sherpa can take in up to 60 watts. We're getting 57 watts inside. It says 60 watts are coming out. And let's just confirm, make sure you guys can see that. Let me move the camera over. Sorry for the, there we go. So it says 57 watts are coming in. Okay. 60, and that says 59, 60 watts coming out. So it's slightly off on the exact wattage, but it's pretty accurate to the 60 watts that it said would be able to come out of this. This to an output, so now this is pushing power into the OUPES system, and we are getting 57, 56 watts inputted into the OUPES power system. Let's confirm the numbers here with the Sherpa. Let me zoom in. And you can see on the lower right of the screen 57 and some change coming out, so that is pretty nice to see. So the input and output is pretty accurate slightly lower than the 60 watts exactly, but it's up there. So I would say that this passes my own tests, and it works very well, the USB-C especially. Okay, I finally got it together. So I'm using a power strip with the air purifier, the space heater, and the box fan over here. I'm going to turn them on one by one. Actually, the space heater and the box fan will turn on automatically. The space heaters, or the box fan's at its highest setting. We go ahead and turn these on. It's going to get loud. Got to turn the power strip on. Fan just turned on. Okay, now this is the real test. Slowly turning on the power setting. We're on the first setting. $503. Let's go to the next setting. Okay. Third setting. There we go. Okay, and the last setting should get us as close as possible to 600. Come on. There we go. 565. 67. Beautiful. Alright, well that's as close as I'm going to get, guys, but clearly you could see that this thing is capable as close as I could get to 600 watts. I think 565 is where we cut off, but there you have it. It works, and it's pretty dang close. Got it pretty close to its continuous maximum output. I thought I found a DC 5521 output that I could test for you guys, but I actually just tried it and I didn't get anything out of it. It's I use this to charge my laptop, and it plugs in fine, nice and snug, but when I turn it on it doesn't work. And initially I thought it was the power station, but I realized that even though the cable fits really well, it's not the right size. This is a 5.5 by 2.5, and this is a 5.5 by 2.1. So that's like the smallest difference, but I definitely recommend just researching, if you intend to using these ports, exactly what size cable this is for. I think a lot of people use these for CPAP machines, or maybe even laptops like me, but I have a 2012, right around that year, MacBook Pro, and this is a 5525 cable, not 2.1. So even if it fits snug, you want to double check. If it's not working, it's probably not the power station, it's actually probably just the cable size. What really stands out from this system, in my opinion, are a few things. The first is that it has a lithium iron phosphate battery in it, and this is really important because it will last a lot longer than a lithium ion solar generator typically. Some last longer than others. I know that the Titan solar generator, its battery is lithium ion essentially, and that one lasts 2,000 or more cycles to 80% capacity. This one lasts around 35 to 3,600 cycles to 80% battery capacity. So that means if you used it every day and you discharged it completely and recharged it every single day, it would, I don't know how long it would last, but it would be over 10 years. It could be up to 18 years. Overall, this will last a long time. Now, obviously, I can't test that because that would take forever for me to test it. But since it's made of this battery, not only will it last longer, but you'll be able to save a lot of money, especially if you were to buy a similar size system with a lithium ion battery that had, say, 500 cycles to 80%. A lot of solar generators or portable power stations have life cycles of 500 cycles to 80% battery capacity. Just to name a few, Goal Zero and Jackery, those are two of probably the most well-known companies that have that type of 500 cycles to 80% capacity. It's not bad necessarily, but this will last, what is that, 6 times longer, 7 times longer? If this is going to last 7 times longer than maybe a Jackery or something, I would prefer this one as long as everything else worked correctly. So that's my 2 cents on the lithium iron phosphate. In addition to the battery is the BMS, or battery management system. So this has a smart IC chip. I don't really know exactly the different chips, but it has a chip in it that reads for different fault codes, and these are the fault codes. Let me get up close to you. This is what will show up, this status section, and then the fault code, that's just the code that is listed here. That won't show up on the screen. Next here we have the output overload protection. I'm just going to go in order down here. Battery low voltage protection, AC output and DC output running simultaneously, system overload, inverter fault, and then BMS fault. So it has all the indicators in the status section. You could pause the screen if you want to or not. And then you have the troubleshooting for these different sections. Now you have the troubleshooting, but if that doesn't work, if it falls under the warranty, it has a 2-year warranty, and if you fill out that information, then you'll be able to get a warranty if this system were to fault and you couldn't fix it. I'm not sure if you have to fill out anything online, but that's the card that came with it. So that's pretty nice. That's typically the warranty you get with these sort of portable power stations, and it's nice that you get a full 2 years. And just for reference, you have some different error messages, or over temperature, low temperature. Those are the signs that you would see on the LCD screen if you were to run into those issues. And then the cooling fan, that is not an issue. That is just saying that the cooling fan's on to cool down the battery or the entire system. All right, so that concludes the review and testing of the OUPES 600-watt power station. I really like it, and I'll give you some pros and cons. The first con is the side vents. I could press it in here and I could feel it moving and like bending. It's plastic around here, and if you drop it on here and if you hit a rock or something right here or on the other side in the same area, you could break it, and just would put a lot of caution into when you're moving it around, just to make sure it doesn't fall on its sides. The other sort of mishap, that it was either my testing or the ports just aren't as powerful as they say, the quick charge USB-As, they say they can get up to 18 watts, but my testing showed that they each got 12 watts maximum. I could have messed it up with what I was using to as an output, so I don't know if they can get up to 18 watts. It's just inconclusive in that area. Besides that, I didn't test the 12 volt ports here, but everything else worked really well. The AC ports really had a great output. 567 watts is what I got, and that's the maximum I could get from what I had appliance-wise. The USB-C is a great feature. The PD port, you can charge using that, and also use the input on this side with the wall charger, and charge in around 4 hours, and that's the fastest charge time. It's really good. You got a 100-watt solar capability. So I actually reviewed the LA Conta. I have it right here. This is the portable solar panel, the 120-watt one. It's also on my channel. You can check that out. I think that will be a great pairing with these two. But if you are interested in getting this inside of a kit. They have them on Amazon. I have my link just to this system, just the system alone, below, and you could check it out. But I know they also have some kit setups as well. They also have a larger one of these, which is I think 1100 watt. It has something like that, like maybe 1,000 watt-hour system. You could check that out if you want something bigger. But yeah, I just think that this is a great value because it has that lithium iron phosphate battery that'll just last so much longer than a lithium ion one. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more portable power station reviews and more sort of frequently asked questions on this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. I have, I think, 3 more systems that I still have yet to review currently. And throw me a like if you like this video, and also if you want to comment, if you have any questions, please let me know. I haven't been that good with responding to comments recently, but I'm looking to pick that up and just be able to reach out to you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this, and I hopefully will see you in the next video. See ya.